Hi guys, I'm back with another video. If you guys are wondering where I am, I usually film my videos right here, like sitting in this chair. Like phone usually goes right here. I'm just right in front of it because I am doing a physical TBR video. Yeah, in other words, I'm embarrassing myself. And I just have a bunch of books on the floor and it's easy access rather than sitting in a chair, bending down and picking it up. It's just easier this way. So we're doing it this way. Also, look at my new shelf. Isn't she cute? Isn't she cute? I think she's amazing. I think she's adorable. I think she's everything the world has ever needed. Anyway, yes, I'm doing a physical TBR video. I don't know how many books I have on my physical TBR. I do know it's a lot. I do know this is going to be embarrassing. And I do want you guys to be nice in the comments, please. So, yeah. So I'm going to do it by shelf, so that way we have some type of organization to this video. But yeah, I do have my book of the month books on the floor right here, so we're gonna start with these first. Actually, no, we're not. I lied. We're gonna start with books that I'm currently reading because for some reason I'm in the middle of like 4 books. Don't ask me why. Let me go grab those first and then we will get on with the other genres. Okay, I have the books that I'm currently in the middle of. I'm currently in the middle of 5 books. Yeah, it's kind of embarrassing, not gonna lie. One book I'm gonna finish today, and that is The Name Drop by Susan Lee. This book is actually, it's good. I do like the book, but the characters just irk me sometimes, but I know why the characters irk me sometimes. I'm not gonna tell you why because it would spoil some things. But I'm on chapter 21 out of 28. So yeah. Oh, you guys see my soul photo card? I don't know if you guys know this, but I am a K-pop fanatic. So you may see like random K-pop things in here. Next, I have My Grandmother Asked Me to Tell You She's Sorry by Frederick Bachman. I am on page 98 of this book. I started this, I want to say in February maybe, and then just never finished it. Just because this book is kind of heavy and it kind of makes me sad, and I don't really want to be sad. Magnolia Parks by Jessa Hastings. I'm on page 111. Oh, I never even finished the chapter. I should finish this chapter real quick so that I'm like on an actual like chapter. But yeah, I started this book in May, and then yeah, because I'm reading this for a video that's gonna be posted in June. So yeah, there's this. Is it gonna rain again? I swear Texas has the most all over the place weather I've ever experienced in my entire life. That's besides the point though. Then we have Mistborn by Brandon Sanderson. I'm actually on chapter 24 because I've been listening to this while I'm like doing other stuff. But I'm actually now on page 328 of this book, almost 75% through. But yeah, I have like this much after the book. So yeah, but I am enjoying this book. My manager was actually like, Jedi, you should read this. And I was like, okay, I'll read it. No need to like hold a gun to my head. Like, I'll do it. So yeah, this is another book I'm currently reading. And then Snow Globe by Soon Young Park. I don't have, oh, actually it's right here. The dust jacket. Whenever I read like a hardcover book, I take the dust jacket off. I just can't do it. But yeah. But let me show you the bookmark that's in here. I'm on page 104 of this book, or 105. This, I feel like this actually matches so well. It's so pretty. I don't know. I love it. But yeah, I've also been listening to this. I've been alternating between Mistborn and Snow Globe for an audiobook. So yeah, those are the books that I'm currently reading that are on my physical TBR. Now we'll go to classics. Actually, we'll go to books that I am planning to unhaul because I haven't read them. So those are next. So for books that I'm planning to unhaul that I haven't read is Love Boat Tepe by Abigail Hingwen. I just don't see myself ever reading this. When I get this book for like TBRs, I never read it. It's just not something that I'm interested in anymore. I used to be really interested in it, and now I just don't want to read it. So, yeah. I have Under the Sycamore Tree by B. Celeste. I am unhauling this book for a specific reason, because apparently this book is a step-sibling romance. I am not into that. Don't want to read about it. So this book will be going, because it's just, it's a weird concept to me. I don't like it. I don't like it. So this is going away. It's going away. Then we have Love in the Time of Serial Killers. This is also a book that I just don't ever see myself reading. I'm not interested in it at all. Kind of give it away. Funny You Should Ask by Alyssa Sussman. I also don't see myself reading this book. I've heard good things about it, but every time I read the back, I'm just like, I don't know. I just don't read it. And then Odd One Out by Nick Stone. This book, I just feel like I have two of her other books that I will probably never get rid of, because they just stick with me because I've read them. This book, I feel, is not going to stick with me as well, just from reading the back. And also, I just like her books are teen books. They're for teens. I say that like I'm not 19 years old, but her books are for like younger teens. And I just feel like this book is very young for me. Not that I'm not gonna enjoy it, but I don't think it's a book that I want or need to read. So yeah, that's not true. Then I have Great Expectations by Charles Dickens. The reason why I'm getting rid of this classic is because it just doesn't intrigue me. Like other classics, I read them and I'm like, whoa, I want to read that. Sounds interesting. This one just doesn't sound interesting to me. It sounds very boring. I also don't really like this edition. If I wanted to read this book, I'd probably get a different edition. So yeah. Then I have The Picture of Dorian Gray. This one also just doesn't sound interesting to me. Emma by Jane Austen. The only thing I've heard about this book is that it's literally just about a girl that doesn't mind her business. Doesn't intrigue me. Mrs. Dalloway by Virginia Woolf also doesn't intrigue me. A lot of the books that I'm unhauling are just going to be books that I feel like don't intrigue me. And if they don't intrigue me, if I don't read them, I'm not going to keep them. Misery by Stephen King. This is one book that I'm only unhauling because I don't want this edition. I want a regular paperback of it. This is a mass paperback, and I just want a regular paperback, which is why this one's getting rid of. So I am going to get Misery. Just don't want this edition, which is why I'm giving it away. Unlucky 13 by James Patterson. This is a part of a series, also something that I'm not interested in. Love James Patterson, not interested in this book, however. Then The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. When I first got this book, I confused it with a different book that I have, which is The Girl with All the Gifts. That's what I thought I was getting when I was getting this. And it wasn't that book. So when I got this book, I kept it for a while, but then recently, like a couple of days ago, I was reading through like the backs of books to see if I wanted to keep them or get rid of them, and I read through the back of this book and I was just like, no. And I know that so many people love this book. This is a loved book. It's just not something that I think I'm going to love personally, so I'm going to give it away. But yeah, those are the unhauled books that I haven't read. And now we're just going to go through the books that are literally right next to me, which is Book of the Month books, most of them. I do have other Book of the Month books in other areas that I will show you, and classics and nonfiction that are already right behind me or right next to me. So first we have Final Girls by Riley Sager. I have loved everything that Riley Sager has written that I have read. This is a thriller, obviously that's what he writes. And yeah, so I have Final Girls by Riley Sager. Listen for the Lie by Amy Tintera. This is also a thriller, kind of like they're doing a podcast. That's what I know about this. This is another book that I am very intrigued to read. Leave the World Behind by Rumaan Alam. This book was originally in my unhaul pile, and then I was just like, but I really think I'm gonna like it, even though no one else likes this book. I think I may like it, so this is being kept, though I haven't read it. We'll see how I feel about it. The Fury by Alex Michaelides. The Hacienda by Isabel Cañas. So this book I've also had for a very long time. I've had it since January 2023. So I've had it for a year. Haven't read it, but I'm still very intrigued by this book. Still very much want to read it. Darling Girls by Sally Hepworth and The Soulmate by Sally Hepworth. This book reminds me of a movie that's coming out. I forgot what it's called. But it reminds me of a movie that's coming out, if it's not already out. And then The Soulmate. These are both by the same author, both thrillers, both very interesting to me, both books that I want to read very soon. No Exit by Taylor Adams. I have read, what is it called? Last Word by Taylor Adams. Gave it a 5 stars. So good. So I want to read this book by him as well. And yeah. Then I have The Reappearance of Rachel Price. This book is a book that is by an author that I have other books by. I have the Good Girls Guide to Murder series by her, and I feel like I should just read this first because it's a standalone. It's not going to be a series, so if I don't like it, there's no other books to read afterwards, and if I don't like it, I can just unhaul the other books that I have by her. So yeah, The Reappearance of Rachel Price. Dark Matter by Blake Crouch. I heard Ashlyn and Ian, I think it was, they read this book and loved this book, and they said it kind of also had, like, I don't know, did they say magical elements? I don't remember, but they were both very impressed with this book. And Ian specifically, I love Ashlyn, but I think our tastes are quite different, but me and Ian, I feel like our tastes are very similar in the books that we read, and I feel like I rate books very similar to how he rates books, and he loved this book, so I think that I will also love this book, and the premise of this book is very intriguing to me. I like it. It reminds me of Misery, kind of, a little bit. She Started It by Sian Gilbert. This book, I remember reading the synopsis of this book and was like, oh wow. So I remember reading the synopsis to this book and immediately thinking that this is something that I would enjoy. It's another thriller book, but it focuses on 4 friends, and they're on like a remote island. I don't know, but I remember reading it and I was like, yeah, I really want to read that. So this is something that really interests me. Next is a new book that I bought, which is The Last Story of Mina Lee. I know this talks about mother-daughter relationships a lot, but other than that, I don't really know much about this. Next, I have Just for the Summer by Abby Jimenez. I have read Part of Your World by Abby Jimenez. I think I gave it a 4.75. I really liked it. This is a part of that series with Part of Your World, Yours Truly. So I think I will like this book. I actually don't know who this follows at all, but I know it starts with a Reddit post. I love Reddit. I think Reddit is hilarious. Then I have Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez, which is another one that I haven't read, which is a part of the same series as Just for the Summer, I think. I know this has very good representation of social anxiety, and it has a dog on the cover. Can you get any better? You can't. Next, I have Ready or Not by Cara Stone. Every time I see this book, it reminds me of Ready or Not by Bridget Mendler. Such a good song. I know this has the accidental pregnancy, or not accidental, but surprise pregnancy trope. I have seen the surprise pregnancy trope done multiple times. I have seen it done the best, and Out on a Limb gave that a 5 stars, so I will be comparing that to this. It is just gonna happen. It happens naturally. But I know, like, best friend's brother steps up and helps her. Sounds like drama. I don't know. You Again by Kate Goldberg. Everyone says this reminds them of Harry Meets Sally, I think. I don't know what it's called. I haven't watched it. But people actually haven't rated this very high. But I think this will be a good, cute fall read. so I'm keeping it. Permanent Record by Mary H.K. Choi. I've had this book for so long. I started to read this book at some point because my sister wanted me to read this, but I never finished it. But I still really want to read it, especially since it's like famous girl, like, and then not famous boy. I love that trope, and also takes place in New York. So yeah. Then I have Romantic Comedy by Curtis Sittenfeld. I also haven't really heard great things about this book, but every time I read the back, I'm like, oh, that sounds cute. I wouldn't read it, so I still have it. I still would read it. The True Love Experiment by Christina and Lauren. I've said this multiple times. Love the books that they write. Gave the 2 books that I read by them 5 stars. Think I'm gonna love this. And I think this one is like, I don't know, they use science to like match you up with like someone that they think is like perfect for you. I don't know, or maybe that's a soulmate equation. I don't know. The Bodyguard by Catherine Center. I've heard nothing but good things about this book. Really want to read this book, just don't know when I'm gonna read this book. And then Butcher and Blackbird by Bryn Weaver. This book, I don't know, I've heard some mixed things about this book. It is a serial killer romance. Yeah, a weird concept, but yeah, I think it's supposed to be a romantic comedy. I don't know how they're gonna mix those things all together, but I'm here to find out. Now on to nonfiction and classics, because I do have a handful of these. I have Crime and Punishment by Fyodor Dostoevsky. This book I'm really interested in. I don't know why, but when I read the back of it, it sounds really interesting. It sounds like a book that could be made today, even though it was made literally, can I even say 100 years ago? I feel like I can say 100 years ago. Actually, no, maybe I can't say 100 years ago. It was made a long time ago, though. I can tell you that much. Oh, wow. I don't know. 1821. 1821. Published by London. 1914. That was 100 years ago, though. So, there you go. Then we have Giovanni's Room by James Baldwin. I have started this book, and then the thing about classics is that you really have to be in a mood to read classics in order to like fully grasp and enjoy them. And when I started this book, I was not in a mood to read classics, so I didn't finish it, but I am still very interested by this, especially the contents of the book and the time the book was made. Very interested. 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. This book is kind of like the first magical realism book to be made, and I'm so interested in it. I've also heard really good things about this book. Yes, I have a used copy, so there's like writing in it, but I'm actually not mad about that. I feel like it would be kind of interesting to see what other people thought about this book and got out of this book, you know? Then I have The Phantom of the Opera by Gaston Leroux. I have watched the movie multiple times. Love the movie. Started this book, I think I got to like page 80 something, 86 maybe, and really enjoyed it when I was reading. But like I said before, you really have to be in a mood to read a classic in order to read a classic, and I wasn't in the mood when reading this, so I soft DNF'd it. 1984 by George Orwell. This was actually the first book I bought when I moved to Texas, which was 2 years ago. Still haven't read it. Are we surprised? Know My Name by Chanel Miller. This book, I don't remember how I came across it, but I remember coming across it and seeing that she had a memoir. I was immediately like, I need to read her memoir. I don't know, it's just something that really intrigues me, something I think is very important. So, yeah. The Handmaid's Tale by Margaret Atwood. I think she like works. Does she work at a hotel? I don't know. This takes place very long ago. That's not. I'm interested. That's all I'm gonna say. The Blood of Emmett Till. This book I think is also very interesting. I took an African American Studies class my senior year of high school, and a lot of the class focused on Emmett Till because we actually don't talk about him during regular history classes, and I was just very interested in his death and what happened to him, so I bought this. And this also contains like an interview with, I forget her name, but the lady who basically accused him or said that he whistled at her. So yeah, this is still something that I really want to read, something that I'm still very interested in. Then we have Unsweetened by Jodie Sweetin. I love, still to this day, love Full House. And this is Stephanie from Full House and her memoir. And her story, specifically out of the cast of Full House, is something that I'm interested in because I feel like she's been through so much. So, yeah. A Sucky Love Story by Brittany Louise Taylor. I saw her story first. I think she posted a video on YouTube, and I was like, whoa. And then I saw she had a story, and she had a memoir, and books usually have more detail because you're not as filtered as you would have to be on YouTube. So I bought hers. And then The Woman in Me by Britney Spears. When this first came out, I wanted to get it, and I just recently got it in January? I actually don't remember, but I recently got this. Maybe it was in March. But I also really want to know about her story because we've heard so many different sides besides hers. And then back to classics. I have 3 more classics. I have Jane Eyre by Charlotte Bronte. I read Wuthering Heights by Emily Bronte. Liked it enough, but this book really intrigues me for some reason. Then I have Persuasion by Jane Austen, and then Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen. Everyone knows Pride and Prejudice. I don't even have to explain anything. Now I'm gonna go on to nonfiction thriller books. Okay, this next chunk of books are mostly thriller, mystery, horror, and then like just general fiction. So yeah, the first one we have is Sisters by Daisy Johnson. No, I didn't steal this from a library. Whoever sold it to me did. Forewarning, this is a horror, I'm pretty sure. Then we have the Good Girl's Guide to Murder trilogy by Hallie Jackson. The Girl with All the Gifts by Emma Carey, which is what I thought I was getting when I got The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. You can see why I got confused. Maybe, but I watched this movie and I loved it, so hopefully the book will do me good, unlike Room. Then we have The Club by Ellery Lloyd. And then we have 2 Stephen King books. We have Cujo and we have Carrie. I've watched Carrie, like Carrie. Is there a movie for Cujo? If there is, I haven't watched it. But I'm excited about both of these. Love Stephen King. Then I have A Little Life, which actually should have been in books I'm currently reading. I've been currently reading this book for like a year. This book is a book that I need to slowly read because it is a very heavy book and I am very sensitive, to say the least. So this book will definitely affect me in certain ways. So I try to read this little by little when I feel like I can handle it, and I guess for a while I just haven't felt like I can handle it. But yeah, I do have this book and I do really want to read it. Midnight by Sister Souljah. Can't read this book until I have the first book, which I don't have. All the Bright Places by Jennifer Niven. I've heard that this book is very sad. And based on the back, I honestly can tell that it's gonna be sad because one of them is obsessed with death, and death is usually a sad thing. Conversations with Friends by Sally Rooney. I read, I think, a chapter of this, and it was drama. You can't go wrong with drama. Then I have The Song of Achilles and Circe by Madeline Miller. I actually want to read these in a book. I actually want to read these in a video, like a reading Madeline Miller book video, but these are the only 2 books that she has. So it will be a short video, but it will be a video nonetheless, if I end up doing that. Then I have Ready Player One by Ernest Cline. Watched the movie, really liked the movie, which is why I can't get rid of this. I've had this book, I think since like 2020. Like, I fear I've had this book for a long time. And I just can't get rid of it for some reason. I don't know why I can't. I just can't do it. Then I have The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. Everyone has read this book. Everyone loves this book. I want to read this book and love this book too. Just don't know when that time is going to be. And then I have The Grace Year by Kim Liggett, which I've seen Haley Fan read this book, I think. And I don't remember if she liked it or not. Like, I genuinely don't remember if she liked it or not, but I do know that she read this book. And yeah, it's like a dystopian book, and I've noticed that I do actually enjoy dystopian books, but we'll see if I enjoy that one. And the last 4 books in the section is Life After Death, which comes after midnight, by Sister Soldier. 16 and Pregnant by Lala Thomas. I love the show Teen Mom and 16 and Pregnant. Don't worry, I'm not getting any ideas, but I do love those shows. And this book is like the show. Speaking my language. Then I have Normal People by Sally Rooney and Killers of a Certain Age by Deanna Raybourn. So those are from that bookshelf, the bookshelf right next to me, not this one, which I should probably actually do now. But yeah, those are those books. Now we're gonna go to the books on this shelf. For this shelf, there's actually a lot of unread books on here. So I haven't read any of these. I actually just got these like Saturday and Sunday. But yeah, I haven't read any of those. I've read all the Harry Potter books at some point in my life. I just don't really remember any of them. And then for my little Frederick Bachman shrine, I have this book. I read Beartown and I read A Man Called Ove, but I have not read any of the other ones. But I do really love Frederick Bachman, so I will read them. And then up here I have my Magnolia Park books. I'm currently reading the first book, which is why it's not up there. So obviously I have not read the other ones since they come after the first book. So yeah, there's my cute little shelf of books that almost all of them aren't read. The next books are kind of a random mix because these are all like individual little cubbies, so they're all kind of random. First, we have The Rest of the Off-Campus series by Al Kennedy. Then I have One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. As you guys know, Red, White, and Royal Blue is one of my favorite books. Then I have And They Lived by Stephen Salvatore. And we next have like an Adam Silvera, Becky Albertalli shrine. Just because, I'm gonna tell you why. Okay, so I have Imogen Obviously by Becky Albertalli, just because I wanted to see how her writing was before I got into What If It's Us and Here's to Us by her and Adam Silvera. We all know that Adam Silvera is one of my favorite writers. He's one of my favorite authors, so I don't need to know if I like his books and his writing style, because I know I do, but I wanted to get one of her like single books that I know if I do like her books as well. But yeah, Here's to Us, What If It's Us, little series by them. Then I have More Happy Than Not and History's All You Left Me by Adam Silvera. His books I kind of have to read a little at a time because his books are very sad. I've cried at the end of every of his books, so I definitely have to pace myself when it comes to his books. And then I have his a fantasy series, the first 2 books of his fantasy series, which is Infinity Sun and Infinity Reaper. Infinity Kings is out, but I just don't think it's out in these covers, and I'd like them to match because these covers are pretty, so I would like them to match, so I'm not getting them just yet. Next is Cassandra Clare. I have all of the Mortal Instruments series by her, or like the first Mortal Instruments series, I guess you could say. So I have City of Glass, City of Fallen Angels, City of Lost Souls, City of Heavenly Fire, and then the Shadowhunters Codex, because it's all a part of the Shadowhunters universe. And so this is kind of just like that. Ignore her, please. So yeah, this is kind of just, I don't really know, but I got this when I got the rest of the series, so yeah. And then I have the Infernal Devices trilogy, so these are not in order, but I have Clockwork Angel, Clockwork Prince, and Clockwork Princess, which come after, where they're kind of in between the books in the Mortal Instruments series. So yeah, those are those. And now we will go on to romance books, which I'm sure everybody knows all the books that I'm going to be talking about, because romance books are quite prominent within the book community. But yeah, let me go grab them. The next books are pure romance. There's nothing else besides romance with these ones. So first I have the Dreamland Billionaire series by Lauren Asher. All I know about these is they're kind of, they follow 3 brothers that kind of own like a Disneyland type thing. I've never been to Disneyland in my life, so I don't know what that is. Well, I know what it is, but I don't know, you know. Next we have Mixed Signals by B.K. Borison. I've read In the Weeds and Love Light Farms. Gave Love Light Farms a 4.5 or 4.75. Gave In the Weeds a 5 stars. High hopes, high expectations for this book. Then I have By a Thread by Lucy Score. I've actually heard really good things about this book in particular. Now the Knock 'Em Out series, I've heard iffy things about. I read all of them. The second was my favorite, unpopular opinion, but I've heard actually really good things about this one. Next are kind of all of my young adult books, I would consider them. So I have Everything by Nicola Yoon. I have read this, The Sun Is Also a Star by her, and I really liked it. I've watched both movies, this movie and The Sun Is Also a Star. So yeah, I'm excited for this book. I've had this book for a long time though, since like 10th grade. Yeah. I have This Time It's Real by Anne Leong. This book I haven't heard a lot of people talk about, but I do think it's gonna be a really cute book, but it's for sure young adult. Then I have Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. Everyone talks and raves about this book. And I have The Heart Principle and The Kiss Quotient by Helen Huang. I have I've read The Bride Test by her, and it was pleasantly surprised by that book, so I got the other 2 in the series. It's interconnected standalone, so I didn't have to read them in order. So yeah. Then I have the Samurai Turned Pretty series. I actually started watching the show. It was like the first day on campus, like the first night on campus, when I was at Tech, and one of my friends invited me to go to her dorm to watch it. So I watched some of it, but I've never read the books, so I'm excited for that. The next set of books I think are adult romances. They may not all be new adult romances, but I think they are. The first book or books is the Mind F series by St. Abbey. I've heard really good things about this book. It's 5 books in one, which is why it's so thick, but I think each book is like 100 pages, so they're actually quite short. Then I have Once Upon a K-Pop Prom by Cat Show. As I've said at the beginning of this video, I'm a K-pop girly, so anything that has to do with K-pop, I'm gonna read. Just in case you guys are wondering what these noises are. Yeah, it's you. It's you. She's playing with her toy, so let her be. Then I have Every Summer After by Kylie Fortune. I've heard a lot that this is a lot like Love in Other Words. Gave that book a 5 stars, so hopefully I like this book. We'll see. The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston. Have heard nothing but good things about this book, so we shall see. I feel like I need other words to describe books. Like, I feel like I say intrigued, nothing but good things. Like, I need other describing words. Archer's Voice. Everyone has everyone cried to this book? Everyone loves this book. I've seen a lot of people cry to this book. She's getting stuffing all over my floor. But yeah, hopefully I like this book. I've heard it's really sad though, so hopefully I don't cry. Then I have the other two that are part of the series, because if you guys didn't know, Actor's Voice is a part of the series. We have More Than Words and Most of All You. They're love stories, I think. That's what it says. Then I have Happy Place by Emily Henry. This book has gotten so many mixed opinions, so I don't know how I'm gonna feel about this book. I don't know. A lot of people, like, everybody loved Book Lovers and then didn't like this. So maybe since I didn't love Book Lovers, I'll love this. We'll see. We'll see if my predictions are correct. And then I have Binding 13 by Chloe Walsh. Yeah, this is actually such a pretty cover. I actually love this cover. But yeah, so many people out loud. This is one of the books that I don't know if it's young adult or if it's new adult. Like, I don't know what this is considered, but I do know everyone else loves this book. So yeah, this is the floppiest paperback I've ever owned, and I am in love with it. Okay, the last books are also kind of a melting pot of genres, I guess. Let's just start off with the first ones, who all have the same author. All of these are kind of series besides the last stack. The rest of them are kind of just like series or same author. So the first, the same author, we have From Luke Off With Love by Mariana Zapata. All Roads Lead Here. The Wall of Winnipeg and Me, which I probably am the most excited about because it's a football romance and we don't have very many of those. And then I have Underlock by Mariana Zapata. As you can see, I have quite a lot of Mariana Zapata books. Next is also a series that I think everyone knows and loves. We have the Shatterby series by Tahera Mafi. I have all 6 books. I don't have the novellas, and I don't know if I'm gonna end up getting the novellas. We'll see. Maybe if I want to, I'll get them. If not, then I won't get them. It all just depends on how I feel when I start reading them. I then also have the Six of Crows duology by Leigh Bardugo. Oh. You okay? What you doing? I gotta film. I can't pet you right now. How about we lay down? Here. How about we lay down? I also have the, what is this called? The Shadow and Bone trilogy by Leigh Bardugo. So there you go. As you can see, I've been on a little bit of a fantasy kick. And then I have the other 2 books of the Mistborn trilogy, which is Well of Ascension and The Hero of Ages. So, yeah. Just get bigger and bigger. Do they? Am I lying? I was gonna say they just get bigger and bigger, but actually I think I just lied. I don't think they do. And then lastly are just the rest of my Book of the Month books. And we have Will Smith's memoir, Crying in H. Smart by Michelle Zauner, How to Say Babylon by Sophia Sinclair, Dear Edwards by Anna Napolitano. This is such a beautiful cover as well. Annie Bot by Sierra Greer, Ninth House, another Leigh Bardugo book. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab, which I've heard such good things about. And then lastly, When Women Were Dragons by Kelly Barnhill, which my friend bought me for my graduation. Isn't she just the sweetest? You guys don't know her, but she is. So yeah, all I have to show you is the books that are on my June TBR, which you guys have probably just seen because it was the video I posted before this one, but they are unread, so I guess I should, I suppose, I guess I'll show you. Okay, so for the books on my June TBR that are being included in this video is Felix Ever After by Kissing Calendar, 11/22/63 by CVK, The Silent Patient by Alex McLadies, Beach Read by Emily Henry, Andrew and Santi Were Here by Johnny Garzavilla. Yeah. The Paradise Problem by my favorites, Christina and Lauren. And then Wrong Place, Wrong Time by Gillian McAllister. So, that concludes my physical TBR. First of all, this video took a long time. That's how I know it's going to be embarrassing. Second of all, I need to go on a book buying ban. I really do. Again, because this is quite ridiculous. It's quite ridiculous, but nonetheless, what can you do? What can you do? Nothing. So yeah, I'm gonna have a counter somewhere on the screen telling you how many books that I have, because I'm not gonna go through and count them. That's a lot of work that I don't feel like doing. I'm just gonna be honest with you guys. But yeah, now that I've embarrassed myself on the internet, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys next Tuesday. Also, if you guys have read any of these books and feel like I should move some of these books up on my priority, like I should prioritize some of these books and I should just not read some of these books, let me know in the comments, because if I can get rid of some of these books, I will. Like if you guys think like, oh, you probably wouldn't like that, tell me. If you guys think, oh, you would love that, you need to read that now, tell me. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll see you guys next Tuesday.